what proposition is actually arguing for here. There's some debate about that in itself. Now, this debate was outlined by Guy, as far as I can make it, as this House would not break international law, would not fight the laws established by the international community so long ago to fight for democracy, would not break international law in order to fight for democracy, even with all the benefits that come with democracy. This House would not fight despite the will of international law. Right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we think that the dead don't care if they lie in free soil or if they lie in soil that is still unchecked. We think the dead do not care if they died for a cause of democracy, because when people die, they lose all ability to be glad of the cause they fought for, be glad of the cause they died for. And we think that all rights, all hope, all potential to live and love and be free in the land that they have made is lost to those who died in the wars of liberal interventionism that are. And we cannot ask, most of all, that any citizen of our or any other country die for a cause that they may not believe in, may not fight for, may not truly care about, a cause that they would be happy to leave by the wayside, rather than fighting for with all their lives. We believe that we, the free governments of the world, commit terrible arrogance if we believe that we can overwhelm both the deontological duty that Guy pointed out, no thank you, of obeying international law in all cases, and the duty of care that we have to both the citizens in foreign lands and in our own. When we fight a war, the outcome of which is uncertain, the benefits of which are uncertain, no thank you, and the principles of which are open to doubt. Now, I'm going to make I think there are three considerations in this debate. Firstly, whether we have a moral duty to the citizens of other countries to intervene, to allow them to have democratic rights at the risk of their own lives. Secondly, the duty to our own soldiers, whether that is worth sending them into fight for the rights of another country. No, thank you. And thirdly, the government's duty to follow the laws laid down globally, and whether that is superseded by any other consideration. So, firstly, the moral duty to intervention in foreign lands has been made much of by the first speakers for the opposition. That we have a moral duty because both of our duties as citizens of this world, as members of the human race, and as possibly the people that fucked these countries up in the first place, that we should go in, sort it all out, and make it all right, because it is the democratic will of the people. And we say in proposition that we cannot be certain that in an undemocratic society, what the will of the people is. We cannot be certain who really won the recent Iranian elections. We cannot be certain whether Shias were willing to go so far as to die in overwhelming numbers to overthrow the regime. There's a very good reason for this. Despots don't go around doing opinion polls like, so, would you welcome a risky and widely destructive war to make your despot swing from the end of a gibbet on 1 million YouTube videos forevermore? We don't think despots ask these kind of questions. And we don't think that in a country where free debate may be stifled, where dangerous and risky opinions to the stability of the state are kept out, where opposition to totalitarian regimes are kept out, we have absolutely no idea, when there is no free debate, no free opinion polls, and so on, what the will of the people truly is. We are going on our assumptions, and our assumptions, no thank you, are coloured by the society that we live in and have always lived in. The belief that democracy is right because we have grown up in it and benefit from it. Now, no thank you. A society where free debate and flow of ideas is limited has no clear way of establishing what is right for that country and what we truly believe is correct for that country. Yes, John.
Certainty has never been the basis of the decision because certainty doesn't exist. We only enter countries where it is more likely than not that we have the support of the people.
Okay, John. Firstly, we are biased towards believing that countries have the support of democracy because that's our social norm and that's not the social norm of other countries. Secondly, we can be certain of one thing in war, and that will be that human lives are lost. If we have come to the point, no thank you, where we are facing down an armed dictator and are willing to take them on, are willing to occupy their country and overthrow them, then we have come to the point where the loss of life is inevitable, is certain. If there is one certainty in this thing, it is that people will die, that the sands of the desert will be stained red. And we
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Right. Against the will of Russia, NATO went in and sorted out Serbia. We think that was a very good example of how you have to sometimes skirt around international law to provide people with democracy and stop a genocide. I said it in my first speech, and we've yet to get a response to it.
Okay, we think that was a very good example of where we got lucky. We cannot be certain which side is right. We are wrong as often as we are right. Afghanistan has hardly turned out a success. Iraq has hardly turned out a success. Georgia, South Abkhazia, South Ossetia and so on were not really a resounding success in either direction for the Russians, who went in on similar principles.
Sir!
And I do not believe you are willing to stand up. The principles of interventionism in foreign countries, when the law is so clearly against it, is open to misinterpretation. The Russian action in South Ossetia is a clear example of where the Russians believed that liberal interventionism to save the people of South Ossetia from Georgian oppression was the correct thing.
Sir?
We, being a democratic country, believes in a completely different set of norms, a completely different set of opinions. And there is no way for us to be absolutely certain that our opinions are right. Now, the one certainty we do have is to our own soldiers. No, thank you. They are our own citizens. They are from the constituency that elected us, which the citizens of foreign countries are not. And so we have a duty to them, no thank you, which exceeds those of the citizens of foreign countries, in that we are directly accountable to them as free leaders, and in that we have a direct responsibility to their protection as they are citizens of our country and are under our democratic mandate, whereas the people of foreign countries are not. The difference is that the only people who are under our the only mandate that the people of all the world come under is the mandate of global law. The law that is established across boundaries across the entire UN. That global law, as enshrined in the United Nations Charter, enshrined in human rights, those laws are the only laws that apply to all citizens of the world, and are the only laws, moral or otherwise, that we can obey when dealing with people who are not our democratic citizens. We have a mandate over our own citizens because they elect us democratically. We do not have a mandate to intervene in foreign countries because that's when international law is against us. Because we're not elected directly by those people. The only connection we have with them in law, and the only justification we have for acting with any regard to them in law, is the international laws that apply both to them and to us. And that is why we cannot break international law when democracy is at stake. Because democracy is dependent only on people within our own country, and we do not have a democratic mandate over the people of other countries. We have only the mandate given to us by international law. I beg you to propose. Thank you.